How's it going, everybody? Welcome to the Positive Mindset Podcast, where we come together to raise our vibration, lift our perspective, and build a positive mindset. My name is Henry, and I'm so thankful to have each and every one of you here today because in this episode, we're going to talk about the one thing that you need to know to step into your positive experience. But before we get started, we're going to take a few moments to slow down, zero in. We're going to take some deep healing meditative breaths to help us align on the frequency that we want in our lives. So pick a word. It could be love, joy, happiness, abundance, whatever frequency you want. And we're going to take a deep breath in. And as you're breathing in, you're going to say that word over and over and over again. Really charge yourself up with that energy. And then as you're holding your breath, visualize yourself doing something in that frequency. And once you exhale, anything that no longer resonates with you will leave you and you'll be in a more positive state. So let's go ahead and take a deep breath in. And out. We're going to take another deep breath. This one's about alignment, about getting ourselves in receiving mode so we can receive the message that we need to hear to get us in that positive space. So just imagine that you are surrounded by the most healing, uplifting energy that's meant specifically for you. It could have a certain color, a certain taste, a certain smell, however you imagine it. And when you breathe it in, it's going to charge you up. It's going to break down the negativity, the blocks, the weight, everything that's just been holding you back. And once you exhale, anything that no longer resonates with you will leave you and you'll be in a more positive state. So let's go ahead and take another deep breath in. And out. So when people want to change, when they want to create a new experience, they want to break old habits, they want something new in their life, we look outwardly. We look for a sign, we look for a signal, we look for someone to show up and give us the whatever it is that we need, whether it's the path or the understanding or the belief. We look for those things. But the fact is, it's always within us. The thing you're looking for is always within you, and it's a belief, it's a frequency, it's energy that you just have to pay attention to. Unfortunately, when we have this experience, we're all born in unique situations. The situation you're born in is going to affect who you become because you're going to have inputs. These inputs are going to start to adjust your lens of what it is that you focus on. What you focus on, you will expand. You're an observer and creator of your experience. So through your life, and maybe you've tried to pay attention to things, maybe there's classes you were interested in at school, there's hobbies you've had, there's interests just in life, there's things that you've tried to focus on, you've expanded your life. But for some reason, you're feeling lost. You're feeling up to the point where you turned into something called the Positive Mindset Podcast. Either looking for something that was going to make you happy or a way to shift your mindset to see your perspective or change your perspective to see something different. There's one line that if you start to believe will change everything. And if everyone started with this and lived their life this way, the world would be a completely different experience because the world is not as it is. It's always as we are. And that's you're the greatest. You see, if you believed you're the greatest at whatever it is that you wanted to do, you would become it. Because there is no factual great. There's always perspective on it is. So however you become, when you're becoming the greatest, the best lover, the best healer, the best giver, the best listener, like all of those things, when you become the greatest at that, you are in your higher self. Everything is expanding. So there's not only one way to be great. How you become great is your journey. How you operate in love is your journey. How you operate in forgiveness is your journey. And you are the greatest at being you when you try. When you push forward and try to be the greatest you, not the greatest me, not the greatest, person that you look up to, person that you see do something, the greatest you, that's where fulfillment will come from. If something feels wrong and you put a boundary to be your greatest self, to operate in love and light, then that's your path. And it might be different than what someone else has to do. It might be different than what someone else has done. It's your journey. The more power you give to your journey, the more fulfillment you're going to get from it. All the influences that have guided you and supported you and lifted you don't have to be the permanent cycle that you live in, the permanent pattern that you believe in. It's completely up to you. In fact, there's only now. So if you're living how you are now based upon a memory, the past, then you will repeat more of the past. So you just have to change that and decide that you are the greatest. What if every morning you woke up in your head and you said, I'm the greatest? If it was me saying, I'm the greatest Henry of all time, I'm the greatest coach of all time, I'm the greatest leader of all time, I'm the greatest person of all time, and whatever it is I want to do, and then I operated it as best as I could. Meaning I will get better at it each and every single day as I override my thoughts with knowing that I'm the greatest. I am the greatest. And so are you. There was nobody that could be the greatest me better than me. And there's nobody that could be the greatest you better than you. And you are meant to be the greatest version of you, whatever that means. If that means you're supposed to be someone that lives in a faraway, remote place and does fishing trips, and that's what you do, you run tuna trips, or you're somebody that's supposed to live in a big city and run a big company, or you're somebody that's supposed to just go traveling or live in a small town, whatever it is, it's the greatest you. And if you start saying that you're the greatest every day, and then listening to what your heart says to do, and having forgiveness for what your heart says to do, and having patience with what your heart says to do, and doing the same for others, loving them regardless, as long as it's not hurting people, meaning trying to take from people. It might hurt when they say what they want to be in the greatest version. It might hurt because what you lose. But if they're going on their greatest journey and you're going on your greatest journey, as long as you take that step every single day, fulfillment will be the result. Not the destination. There is no destination. Your body dies and goes back to the earth and then recycles and does it again. So that's not the destination. What you become is not the destination. What you earn is not the destination. It's the experience and understanding and perspective that you get along the way. You were meant to be the greatest. Nobody should think less than themselves than that they are the greatest. Again, it's the greatest you that you can be, because you are a unique perspective. You are a unique observer of this world. And if everything's always expanding, that means love is always expanding. And the way you love and the way I love and the way your neighbor loves is a little bit different. So if they become the greatest version of themselves, then they will become the highest power of love that could be under that function or that funnel that they are. And the same is true for you. So why wouldn't you give yourself that frequency of the greatest? The things that we admire, the people that have accomplished the most amazing things, we say they're the greatest. We give them that high frequency, even though they're equal. They're just a being having a human experience that did something that some of us are inspired by or encouraged by. And so we call them the greatest. We give them that frequency. Just imagine if you did that every single day. In fact, imagine, of course, you have to start with self, because if you're not going to start with yourself, then it's not of value as far as what you're going to do. The highest version of you is the best value there could ever be. Because the highest value version of you would be given away, because that's what you do when you're becoming high value. Truly, you're understanding that you are the gift to the world. So you're trying to raise yourself up and so that you become the gift. But imagine if you lived your life that way. So think about you. Think about your community, the people around you, everything. Think about it all. You wake up and you say, I'm the greatest. And you say it again, I'm the greatest. You see yourself in the mirror. I'm the greatest. You're brushing your teeth. I'm the greatest. You're taking a shower. I'm the greatest. You're getting dressed. I'm the greatest. You're eating your breakfast. I'm the greatest. And you say it over and over and over again. And you develop that belief system of self that you're the greatest. Now we know if we're living as our highest selves, we're giving ourselves away. So that would mean not only are you living that way, not only are you pumping yourself up with that frequency constantly, you would also be giving that version of you away to the world. So you would be telling other people that they're the greatest. But imagine being told that you're the greatest by someone that's actually operating as the greatest. So think of a sport or movies or whatever it is that you're into. Who's the greatest to you? There's someone that comes to mind. So this person's the greatest. That's who came to mind. Imagine that you did what they did. And I'm going to use golf, for example. Let's say that you're really into golf and Tiger Woods to you is the greatest golfer of all time. And so you start golfing, you're doing your thing, and Tiger Woods happens to see you play. And Tiger Woods looks at you and he says, you're the greatest I've seen in a long time. Imagine the weight that would have, because that's someone that you view as the greatest, versus if you're golfing and someone's just walking by and maybe they they're just someone that looks completely uninterested in golf. They're someone that looks like they could care less, or they couldn't care less about anything about golf, and they see you golf and they say, hey, you're the greatest golfer I've ever seen. There wouldn't be a lot of stock in that. The energy exchange would not be very powerful. This is how we change the world. This is how we create a high frequency world. You may have, if you like venture into the out there stuff of this positive mindset or this energy stuff, you hear about people talking about 3D, 4D, 5D, like all these dimensions that are supposed to exist on Earth. And I'm not the expert on that stuff. But if we truly want to change the world into something that it's not right now, we have to change. The world is not as it is. It's always as we are. The world is showing us what you are. What you feel and take away from the world is your current state. So you don't need to change the world. You have to change yourself. So you should start by calling yourself what you deserve to be called, the greatest. And you might think to yourself, well, I'm not the greatest. I'm not. I'm not doing a good job at work. I'm not doing a good job at home. I'm not doing a good job of self. I'm not doing anything that would be considered great. That's okay. This is the first step, is talking to yourself and pumping yourself with the right frequency. That'd be like taking a car that's just a regular car, say it runs on regular gas, and then you keep putting watered down diesel fuel in it, and it runs terrible. Then people say, yeah, that's not a good car. It barely drives. It smokes. It's like bouncing around. It's making all these crazy noises. And the car probably doesn't think very well of itself. But then you, who knows about cars, is like, well, wait a minute. That's not a diesel. You got to put regular gasoline in it. And so you put the gasoline in it, which it actually needs, and then the car starts running better. The engine starts running smoother. It starts driving better. It's not smoking anymore. It's not making these weird sounds or smells. And it starts being a really good car. Then it becomes a great car because it's dependable. It's exactly the car that it could be to its full potential because it got the right fuel. Food, water, air, of course, those are material fuels. But what about your energetic, your spiritual fuel? What are you charging that up with? Frequency matters. Words are just how we perceive them. So when you're saying words, you're moving frequency. When you're thinking and perceiving words, you're witnessing frequency. You're an observer and creator. So give yourself that high frequency. Call yourself the greatest. That's the first step. So if you're not feeling the alignment, if you're not feeling that you are those things, in fact, if you're not those things, which you very well may not be, then start with the fuel. Fuel yourself with the right frequency, the right one to level you up. It's not better or worse. It's just the right one for who you want to become. So start leveling yourself up with that high frequency. See it, say it, hear it again and again and again. Say it so much, think it so much, believe it so much that it overruns your brain to where that everything you do, you're at the restaurant, I'm the greatest, and then you have to make decisions that align with it. That's the next step. Step 1, fill yourself up. So if you're not where you want to be, you're okay. This is the beginning. Learning how to speak to self. Self-talk. If you want to know about somebody, like if you truly want to know them, the only thing you'd ever need to hear is their self-talk. You hear their self-talk, you'll know exactly why that person's in the place that they're in. Externally, you may have no idea. You may say, well, this person looks amazing. They have everything. Everything looks great for them. They have money, they have looks, they have whatever. They're young, they're healthy, they're this, that. Until you hear that internal dialogue. Imagine the mind when you wake up and you say, I'm a burden. I don't want to be here. I just mess everything up. I caused the problems. I caused the hurt. Right? That type of self-talk is going to create an experience in alignment with that frequency. So people think they have to change the experience first and that the inners will change after. It doesn't work that way. It can't. I've used this analogy before and I'll use it again. It's like looking in the mirror, just standing there in a full-length mirror and looking at your arm and seeing that you have a cut in your arm that's bleeding. So you see it in the mirror and you try to put the Band-Aid on the mirror. It's not going to fix it. Those that don't reflect, project. You have to start reflection. You have to start looking within. Then change the first thing that you witness, which is frequency, the thoughts, the mind. Change that, level it up. Tell yourself that you're the greatest and become the rising tide that lifts all ships. Well, thank you so much for listening. I hope this episode was impactful and gave you a different perspective. I've been talking a lot about this frequency and words and how important they are, and finding the right ones for the right people is diverse. So hopefully the greatest aligned with you, because you absolutely can and should be the greatest. That's what you're meant to be. That's who I want to meet. And that's most importantly, who you want to give away. So if you want to make sure you don't miss a single episode, make sure you subscribe to my email list. There's a link down below. It will keep you up to date with every single episode. And if you want to follow me on social media, there's my Instagram and TikTok down below. I appreciate all the follows there. I've had more people reach out, if you've listened for a while, about the specific coaching program that I have. It's a very unique one. It's for somebody that's an entrepreneur that really wants to shift their mindset in a way to expand their business. Now, it's not just working, of course, on the business. It's really working on you, getting your expansive mode, changing those thought patterns to align with the vision that you have so that you can see the results in your business. Now, this is a high ticket program, if I've mentioned before, so it's not for everybody, but the regular coaching will be coming back open soon. And I'll, of course, let everybody know once that happens. But if you want more information on the entrepreneur one, you can reach out to me via Instagram or my email address. Either one is great. I've had some great conversations with people. And again, this one's really specific for me. So there's some things that we go through to make sure that it's in alignment with what and who I'm looking to work for or work with on this thing. And so, those of you that we decided not to, of course, there will be stuff in the future. I appreciate you reaching out. And to everybody else, even if none of that applies to you and you just want to ask a question, see if I can make an episode on something, please reach out. I love the conversations and I love sharing and expanding my mind, trying to do it. So thank you so much for listening. Have a great day. And I can't wait to talk to you next time.